Okay. Okay. Hi, everybody. We've just gone live and you're tuned to the Purposeful Business live stream with myself, Lucille Devine, and a very special guest today, which I'm going to introduce you to shortly. Right. The reason why you are watching this is because I have a great passion to showcase entrepreneurs as well as influencers who are really stepping up and living their purpose with tons of passion. During the show, you might find something that resonates with you, or you might find some really secret nuggets that you can start to use in your own business so that you can scale your business and start to grow your business as well. So this show is really about empowering you, inspiring you, as well as motivating you to go and get what you truly want out of your own dream business. All right, so this show is also very much interactive. So if you are a part of the audience, a warm welcome to you. And this is how you can be a part of the show. The very first thing that you can do is ask questions down below in the comments section by just posing a question during the actual live stream. And my guest will actually answer all of the questions as well. Remember, you want to tap into their methodology, their mindset, how they did things. So don't be shy, ask questions. The other thing is you can share this video if you feel that it has any knowledge or powerful value for you or anyone else in your network. Or you can go ahead and share this out on your wall as well. It would be much appreciated. The more people we can support and help and share the stories of success, the better off we will all be. So let's also connect and support one another during this live stream. So today's guest is none other than Lorraine Maharaj. Now, it was so uncanny because when I met Lorraine, she was one of my guests on a previous show that I had with Haley Joy. And for those of you who have tuned in before and tapped into the awesome power of Haley Joy, you'll understand why Lorraine was also watching. But Lorraine has a very unique story. And what really sets her apart is that she's a determined woman. She came from a background of challenges. And, you know, as women, when we step up and we start to look at our lives and we start to take responsibility, something powerful happens within us. So today, we're not only going to talk about her personal journey, but we're also going to talk about her business journey as well. And we're going to tap into what does it take to become a superwoman influencer. So a warm welcome to you, Lorraine, and thank you for being part of my show.
Thank you for having me, Lucille. I'm really nervous being here, but I'm going to try my best to hold back those nerves.
You'll hold them back. It's fine. Don't worry. I must admit that most of the people that watch the live streams and as well as my guests, they do feel comfortable after a while. So I know this is new, but you know what? You made it. You're here. So let's uncover. First of all, Lorraine, I know that you've got a very powerful story, and it's a story that is very close to my heart because, you know, through my own personal journey of uncovering who I am has definitely helped to support my own business as well. So firstly, I'd like you to just share who Lorraine Maharaj is with the audience so that they can tap to you and the powerful stance of who you are.
Okay, I'm just a normal, ordinary woman. I don't see myself as anybody special. So I'm a mom of 3 boys. That's first and foremost. And then I'm a wife. And then comes everything else. So yes, I have a blog. And believe me, when I started my blog, it wasn't about fame. It wasn't about fortune. It was just a hobby. And I just started it because I wanted to make a difference in somebody's life in some small way. And of course, it's grown, which I'm really happy for. But I try to be superwoman. I'm really not any superwoman, but I do try to be. I try to learn a lot. I'm actually at that age where, you know, you're over 40 and you struggle to get the learning done because, I mean, your brain is not as smart as it was when you were younger. But believe me, throughout my blogging career for the 1.5 years that I've been doing it, I've learned so much. And actually, I am so proud of the fact that I have challenged myself. I've learned to use technology again. I've learned so many things that I never thought was possible before. So all my life, I had a low self-esteem. I never had any confidence. I always believed everybody around me was better than I was. So I never even thought that I'll make a success of my blog. I was always very, very doubtful. But I thought if I don't try, I will never know whether it's going to work or fail. And I'm not really one that handles failure very well, I must admit. But I thought if I do this and if I'm going to fail, at least I know I've tried. So for the first time, I accepted that it could fail. And I was okay with that. And then as the months went by and I started learning more and I started getting support from my followers, I realized that this is not such a bad thing. You know, everybody's not going to love you, which is an absolute fact. Everybody that's in business, every influencer, every blogger will know that you'll always have the haters. You will have people that will be nasty. It's just, you've got to just try and ignore and carry on. I must admit, I've also been in therapy for 6 months. I know when you speak of going into therapy, people think you're crazy. No, you're not crazy. You just need somebody to just help you cope with certain situations. And I felt that I was becoming very angry, very bitter because of my past, because of the way people treated me. And then I realized I have a choice to either change that, or I can continue being angry and bitter all my life and just letting it take control of my life. So I decided that's no longer going to control my life. I'm going to take charge. I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to start loving myself. And that's exactly what I did. And I must say, being in therapy for this long is actually the longest I've ever been. I mean, I've been to psychologists and things before. I used to go for a couple of sessions and I just abandoned it because I thought it's just getting me nowhere. This time I was quite determined to get my life right. And I've been there now for 6 months. And I must say it's made such a huge difference in my life. I feel like I've started to embrace the woman I am. I'm loving the person that I am. I'm not afraid to show myself to people anymore. I no longer feel ugly and I no longer feel that I'm useless. I feel like I'm actually worthy for the first time in my life. And for me, that's
Beautiful.
huge.
Fantastic. You know, one of the big things, especially when it comes to women, is I think sometimes society pushes their own beliefs on women, and we always take the second stage, when, especially if we are in a relationship or we are married, and we normally push our partners before we push ourselves. And I think that is testament to what is happening within the world. A lot of women are now realizing their worth, and they're understanding that right now, that loving themselves is not only going to help them, but it helps everybody around them as well. So Lorraine, you were chatting a little bit about how challenging it felt for you. And not only did you not feel like you were worthwhile, that you devalued yourself in a way that really, really, it almost disempowered you to stand up and be this influencer blogger. And that for me is such a powerful story in itself, because I just feel as women as well, we don't tend to stand up and say our say and be heard. We always are in the back, or at the back of the stage, as opposed to come forward. Tell me a little bit about stepping up, and tell me how your blog started once you had realized you had value to give. Let's explore that a little bit.
Okay, so when I was younger, I was actually a bit of a rebel. So I got married at 19, and I thought it was love, because when I was in school also, I didn't have many boys that were falling all over me and wanting to date me or anything of that sort. And all my friends had boyfriends, and I thought, you know what, you must be ugly. So the first boy that came along and said he loved me, I just grabbed it, and the rest was history. And then I decided I'm going to get married at 19, because if I let go of this guy, there's nobody that's going to love me again. And so when I met this guy, I thought I was a princess. For the first time in all those teenage years, I actually felt special, And, the signs were all there. When I wanted to get married to him, the signs were all there that this was not the right guy for me. My dad said that to me. My mom said it to me, but I refused to listen. And that's why another thing, always listen to your parents. They know what's best. I didn't know at the time, but now I realize my dad knew what he was talking about. I just didn't want to listen to him because I was bigger than he was. So at 19, I got married. And then I had a roller coaster of a marriage. I was married for 10 years. I was not ready to have a baby, but I did have a baby at 21. So everything was just thrown at me at a very fast pace. I was abused in my marriage. I was too weak at that time. I felt I was too weak to fight back. So I just allowed the abuse to carry on. There were many times that I wanted to walk away from the marriage, but I did try. But when you're in that situation, it's not so easy. People say, why don't you walk away? Why don't you just leave the man? Trust me, when you're in the relationship, it's not as easy. I stuck it out for 10 years. And one day I said, enough is enough. And I decided that I'm going to leave this marriage. But obviously there were other reasons, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But there were many other factors that came into play when I decided to walk away. The day that I sued my ex-husband for divorce was the day I found out I was pregnant. So with my second child, and that was a big blow for me. And I thought, how am I going to cope, having a baby, having an older child to see to, being a single mother, and all these thoughts were rushing in my mind. I thought, let me go back to this man. And he said to me, okay, let's make things work. And I went for a day and I said, this is not for me. And I walked away and I never looked back. And my parents luckily never ever told me, I told you so. They took me back with open arms. They supported me in my journey. And they said to me, whatever decision you make, it's okay. We're going to support you. And I went back to my parents. I decided, and you know what, the one thing for me is that I was financially capable of taking care of myself. So as a woman, always remember, if you're financially capable, you are able to walk away. If you rely on a man for money, it becomes 10 times harder. So anyway, I had my baby, and I remember a lady at work telling me one day, it was my manager, said to me, Lorraine, I don't know how you can be pregnant and go through a divorce at the same time. If I was you, I would commit suicide. That's exactly what she told me. Wow. And every single day I went to work with a smile on my face. I just pushed through. Nobody knew that I was going through hell. Deep down inside, I was going through absolute hell, but I never showed it to the world. I'm the kind of person that even when I go through the deepest, darkest moments, I always have a smile on my face. And that's what gets me through. Mm-hmm. I try to see the positive side of life. And that's what kept me going. And so anyway, I did get married later on, but that's a whole other story. And so now I'm happily married. I've got 3 boys. And when I had my youngest son, who's now 11, I decided I want to leave the corporate world. It was highly stressful, number one. And secondly, my child had a few health issues, and I thought I'm going to take care of him. And then I started dabbling in a whole lot of skills. So I'm a nail technician. I'm a qualified secretary. I've got insurance qualifications. I've done beauty courses. I've done everything. Like, I always try and up my skill in every way I can. And I've done that. So when I resigned from work, it wasn't a matter of me just sitting at home. I was upping my skill in every way that I possibly could. And then eventually one day I said, I really love cooking. Cooking is my passion. And I'm going to start a food blog. But trust me, I knew nothing about a food blog. And when I said I'm going to start a food blog, I also thought, with all my struggles, I can help other women. I could let other women know that there is life after divorce. There is life after abuse. You don't have to fall down and die after you're abused or after you come out of a divorce. You can still get up and get going. And so I decided to start this blog. And I promise you, when I started, I didn't know what I was doing. I started with a free WordPress blog. It was a total mess, but I was so happy that I created this blog for myself. And then eventually a week or 2 later, I decided, this is not a blog. This is a piece of mess. And then I got a lady to help me create a website. And so I started that website and I went on for a bit. And then I realized, this is not taking me anywhere. I was getting like 30 views a day. And I thought, like, what the hell am I wasting my time for? Nobody's even looking at my blog. And then eventually last year in March, I decided I'm going to start over. So I got a real professional. So Lisna Krobler is my web lady, and she created this website for me. And I then started focusing on SEO. I started focusing on getting my photos a little bit better. And I started really starting to understand what a blog is all about. It's not just about writing a recipe. That's what I thought it was. It's not so. So then I started researching a bit more. I started asking people, not everybody's willing to help you. But I'm lucky in the sense that I've met a few ladies in the blogging world. That's been amazing. They've tried to help me wherever they can, make me understand things, because I'm really slow at technology. And so eventually this blog took off. And during the lockdown, the first couple of months, I had such an amazing number of views. I thought, wow, this is amazing. And then it's dropped again. So now I get between 3,000 and 4,000 views a day on my blog, which I'm really happy about. Because remember, I was getting 30 views a day. And now I'm getting between 3,000 and 4,000 a day. So for me, that's really something. And that was hard work. And it also takes consistency and hard work. It doesn't just happen. You don't just get this blog done. So for a whole year, in order to reach this, and I had a goal in mind. So when I restarted my blog, I had a goal in mind. I decided I want to be accepted by one of the biggest ad agencies in the US, and I'm going to focus on that. I was focusing on numbers. So although I had no intention of earning money from my blog, but when I started, I decided, no, I mean, I'm putting all this hard work. Surely I can earn money somewhere. And then I started focusing on the numbers. And then my traffic started growing. And then I was accepted, just over a year, I was accepted by Mediavine, which is great for me because now I get an income every month from my blog. And so it's taken me a year of consistent working. I used to post at least 3 to 4 times a week. I had to work hard at creating recipes, cooking the food, taking the photographs, doing a blog post. It was a lot of hard work. And as a mother and a wife, the demands are really high at home. So I had to sneak out time to do this. And I always got a scolding for spending so much time on my hobby. But I said to my husband, no, I'm going to do this because this is for me. For once, I also stood up to him. And I said, this is for me. I want to do this because it makes me happy. And for once in my life, I'm going to be selfish. And so eventually he got the hang of it and he realized there's no point fighting with this woman. Let her just do it. And that's when I just continued doing it. And I'm really happier for it. And so I started also talking about my struggles, my abuse, my self-esteem, and all of that. But there were times when I wrote a whole post. I put it out there. But before and after writing these posts, I suffer with terrible anxiety. So you must understand this is coming from deep within your soul. Everything you're talking about personally, it's coming from deep within. It's not easy. And so I do this, and I suffer with great anxiety, but I do it anyway. So you'll always find me deleting the post, putting up the post, deleting the post, because I'm not really sure. But now I'm at a level where I'm not afraid anymore. Now if I do a post, it's done. I don't care what anybody thinks about me. And I just continue.
Oh, beautiful. Oh, fantastic. And that's some advice that as well that I know that you'd like to give women that are in a challenging situation is to believe in themselves and to actually just do it. Whether it is right or wrong, you know what, at the end of the day, it is part of you. I love the fact that with your story is that there was a need, and the need was saying that you should be at home and you wanted to become a home-based a business and a mom. First and foremost for your boys. And that led to this idea of starting a blog. The fact that you even started a blog and the first one was a total mess, that just testifies to failing forward because you knew that it wasn't up to par. You knew that it wasn't of a standard. And then you went back into it and you did it again on a different platform. And you knew that it also wasn't gaining much. And then again, upping your game and getting someone to professionally put you out there, which led to you being paid as an influencer. And I think that is the beauty around it. That's the journey that a lot of women need to understand. That is exactly what happens. And I love the fact that you've shared that with us. Thank you so much. All right, I do see that we've got a couple of people that have just jumped on board. A warm welcome to you. You are watching the Purposeful Business live stream, and my guest today is Lorraine Maharaj, and she has a beautiful blog that is out. I'm going to put it up on the screen again. It's Tamarind and Thyme. And not only are recipes showcased there, it's really about Lorraine, who she is, and how she's representing women in business as an entrepreneur and an influencer as well. So Lorraine's talking about her journey. Sorry about that, folks. It looks like my internet keeps on down. My apologies. Sorry about that, Lorraine. I didn't want to
No
leave you
problem. I
hanging
thought it
there.
was my side, but I'm okay today.
No, it's the weather, and especially in my
Yes,
area, because we're just on the mountain. So sometimes it loses connectivity, unfortunately. Sorry about that, and sorry
no
about the
problem.
audience. But yes, as I was with regard to Lorraine and her story, it's so powerful because and impactful because again, it is someone that has seen these challenges but really just pushed on through. All right, we've got one of our audience. I just want to put up Millicent's little comment on screen. I know that you have lost us. I do apologize there, Millicent, with regards to that. It's obviously my internet connection, but thank you for watching and thank you for stopping on past. Millicent is also one of those very purposeful entrepreneurs, and she has a travel company together with her partner called Ait Nangamla. And she's also one of those people that, she doesn't sit down when it comes to challenge. She kind of gets her clothes on, no matter what. So it's wonderful. Thanks for joining us, Millicent. If you want to ask a question with regards to Lorraine and her journey, or ask her advice when it comes to you, perhaps maybe you're thinking about starting a blog, maybe you're unsure as to what you're wanting to do, pop us a message. Just comment below in the comment section, or just even want to say hi. I do see that we've got quite a few people on board. Please pop in a message down below. We'd love to acknowledge you and just say hi. All right, Lorraine, I also want to know, because I think sometimes people miss the mark when it comes to owning your own business. This doesn't happen. It's not something that you open up and within 48 hours, everything is running smoothly and you get all those people on board. I want to know how does that passion for what you do, how do you keep that fire, that inertia going when things are not really going right?
So first of all, I see this as my passion project. I absolutely love it. So it is a passion of mine, and it doesn't take much to get me down. Some days I will have writer's block, or I'll have a situation where I'm not motivated to do stuff. So then I will take a short break. I think breaks are also important. When you feel a bit demotivated, just take a short break, re-look at what you think is bothering you, or whatever it is. Just, relax a bit and then start over. I'm not one to relax very much. I'm always on the move. But there are times when I feel my mental state is really not right, because there's some people that just get to me, or I'll get a nasty comment and it'll bother me for days. And then I say to myself, Lorraine, you've got to take a break now, and you've got to rewire and then come back. And I suppose that's what keeps me going, is the fact that I think also I've grown in myself so much that very little bothers me now. So now I can take a break and come right back to it. I haven't reached a stage yet where I want to just throw in the towel permanently. I will think today I want to throw in the towel, but then after I relax and de-stress a little bit, I'll come back and I'll say, no, I'm in for it again, and I'll start all over. So it doesn't take much to get me done. And I think, as I said, my therapy has helped me, and just trying to ignore people, not to be so reactive as I was before. If somebody said something to me before, they will hear a mouthful. Now I'm trying to just stop myself. So if somebody says something and I don't like it, I just ignore and I move on. But I'm not stopping myself from saying that. But if somebody is being mean, I'm not going to just keep quiet about it. I will address it on my blog, or I'll address it on my Facebook page, because I want people to know that it's also not okay to stomp on people. If you don't like me, and if you don't like what I'm saying, you walk away. You have a choice. But I'm not going to be a pushover and say, it's okay, you can abuse me and I'm going to be okay with it. I have been abused in the past. I have been bullied in the past. I'm not taking that anymore. It is my blog. I choose to share what I want. If you love it, you love it. And if you don't love it, you walk away. It's as simple as that. Everybody has a choice in life. So yes, I think that's helping me, just stopping to think a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful as well, and good advice there when it comes to that, because there are a lot of people that will go out there and try and derail you, only because it's something that is inside of them, whether it's jealousy or anger, or whatever the case may be. It's insecurities that they have. And I can so resonate with you when you say, you know what, you food. Either you're going to react to it or you're just going to walk away from it. And that's the beauty about being mature and understanding that, yes, you have the power and nobody can take that away from you. It doesn't matter what they say, you are still passionate about what you do. So tell me, I want to talk a little around your food now and the passion that you have around food, because I've been consuming your blog ever since we first met, and we met in a group, in fact, when we were chatting.
Yes.
And I invited you to come and join our influencer group. And it was from then that I actually noticed all of
You were
your
the lady that
recipes.
stood up for me. So
Yes,
I remember that.
I wasn't going to take any nonsense, because that particular person would be so stupid. But anyway, tell us a little bit about what motivates you and what you're passionate about when it comes to food.
Okay, so firstly, I grew up in a home. I mean, I'm Indian, so Indian and food, they're synonymous with each other. So where there's Indian people, there's food. So when I grew up, my mom used to get on my nerves, I promise you, because some days used to be sleeping in bed and she was up like 6 a.m. cooking a curry, and you can smell. And whilst you're in your bed, all you can smell is food. And I used to sometimes get so annoyed with her and say, like, Mom, couldn't you have waited for us to at least wake up, and now we can smell all this food. But I've molded her. I'm exactly like her now, because I do the exact same thing. So if I feel I want to cook something, I will some days get out of bed as early as 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and I'll start. And I'm saying to myself, I'm sure the neighbors are smelling this, and they're probably going to freak out, So they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. So I always remember my mom cooking. I came from a very simple home. We had nothing fancy. I didn't eat fancy foods. My mom cooked the simplest of things, but my mom was a good cook. And everything she cooked, I enjoyed. There were sometimes I hated some stuff that she cooked, but most of the time I know she cooked well. And I've also got a mother-in-law that's an excellent cook. And the thing is, when I started this, I wanted to leave something behind. I thought, when I'm gone, my kids will have my recipes. Our culture must still be there. And I wanted my children to know what Indian food is all about. And I have a 19-year-old that's studying to become a chef. He doesn't want to hear about Indian food, because all he wants to do is prepare gourmet food. So I said to him, it's okay, you do your gourmet, but one day when I'm gone, you're going to want to eat my food. And these recipes are going to be there. So I've got these recipes. And I just feel, so for me also, what keeps me going and what I love so much about sharing my recipes is that when I share them on my blog, that's what I want to do as well. There are so many youngsters that are overseas that don't get to eat their mom's food anymore. And the majority of my followers that actually come to my blog are between 20 and 30 years old. It's the young crowd. And the reason why they come to me for recipes is because they want to cook like their mom. And I have so many people writing to me and saying, Lorraine, I've cooked this of yours, or I've cooked that of yours. It tastes just like my mom's. It reminds me of home. So when I post a recipe, I want people to try that recipe. It must evoke a memory. They must have that feeling of nostalgia. That's what I want. So one day they can also leave it behind for their kids. And for me, that's what I'm passionate about. That's what makes me keep going every day. I want to create more recipes. I want to do more. And I must say, I don't have enough time. Some days I'm short on time and I don't, produce as much as I would like to. But I do know I've got some really loyal followers. I mean, I had ladies that tell me, we never knew how to cook. And since we stumbled across your blog, we now know how to cook. And what we love about your blog is that everything is so simple. It's anybody can cook it. It's people that never knew how to cook can even cook it. So I don't produce gourmet food. I don't want complicated recipes. I am a lazy cook. So I like the lazy way of cooking. And that's what I try and, put out on my blog. Everything's got to be simple, just the way I like it. And so that's what I get. And I actually feel like a bit of an authority figure because, I'm this old lady that's now teaching the younger ones to cook. And there are some that are just too, there are some that are too proud to admit that, yes, they have tried my recipe because they don't want to look like I'm better than them. And that's okay. But there are some that I will come out there and say, yes, we did try your recipe and we absolutely loved it. And thank you for sharing, because I don't miss my mom's food anymore because now I can cook it just like my mom. And that's exactly what keeps me going.
I think that's awesome, because you not only also understand your customer and the person that you are sharing those recipes with, because they are going to be using all of those recipes to actually create what you are creating as well. I love the fact that you actually are doing that, and you're almost leaving a legacy of how to cook good Indian food. I know I love the roti recipe. It's very simple. And you call yourself a lazy cook, but I'm going to tell you because you've taken something that's sometimes very difficult and you've put it into almost like a step-by-step guide that anyone can go and approach. So, I love the fact around that, Lorraine, especially when I've gone onto your site. There's some really awesome recipes there that people can follow with ease. You don't have to be a chef. You don't have to be even a foodie. You just have to appreciate what fresh food is and put that into the mixing pot, which is phenomenal. Okay, I also want to know a little bit about what inspires you. Do you follow any thought leaders, or do you follow anybody else's recipes? I mean, how does this all work? How do you create this content, and what inspires you to make it?
So, you know what? I don't really have anybody in particular that I follow. I follow a lot of chefs that I just watch how they cook. I don't use anybody's cooking style or anybody's techniques or method or whatever. I just feel I have to do what works for me. If I follow somebody else, I feel like I will not enjoy it. So I do everything that I ever do, I do myself. Something that works for me, something that I'm going to enjoy doing, something I'm going to be passionate about. I find that if I don't have any motivation to cook the dish, I will not cook it well. So I don't try anything complicated. And the last thing I will do is follow gourmet chefs because I really can't make gourmet food. The one lady that I do follow is Recipe and Eats. Oh, I don't know. We've lost Lucille again. Are you there, Lucille?
Sure. I'm so sorry, audience. It looks like we are having some challenge with the connection. I see that I've lost Lorraine as well. I'll wait a few minutes and see if she can come back. I do apologize again. This is not the best of the live streams. This is terrible.
Don't worry. I think it's the weather today.
Yeah, it is. It's a cloud coverage. So, yeah, it is battling a little bit.
Yes.
Okay. Lorraine, you were saying about who inspires you. Let's just cover that a little bit, and before we start to kind of finish off on the live stream.
Okay, so there is a blogger that I really love. She's got a blog called Recipe and Eats, and I promise you, she can cook absolutely anything and everything. So she's the one woman I do look up to because I just find, the way her blog is just so easy to understand. She gives you so much detail, and her recipes look simple, and she's just so popular amongst people as well because I think they just love everything that she cooks, and she cooks absolutely everything. And I think for me, I look up to her because when I do my blogging, that's the lady I try to emulate and try. I want to be something like that in the future, where I can also get people to appreciate what I do a bit more. So I think for now, that's the one lady that does inspire me. And then, as I said, I do get inspired by my mum's and my mother-in-law's recipes. Whenever I want advice, if I'm cooking a curry and if I'm not sure what to do, I always pick up the phone and phone the two of them. And so they also inspire me in a big way. And what I like is that the simplicity of their cooking. There's nothing fancy about it, and yet it's so delicious. My mother-in-law is strictly vegetarian, but you could eat vegetable every day because her food is that delicious. And so
Wow.
I really don't want to do anything fancy. I really want to be just simple as I am, create simple recipes, and just do what I love in the most simplest way possible.
Okay. Oh man, today is not a good day. We just keep on losing the connection. All right, I'm so sorry, audience. It's just one of those things. I think the real message did come through right at the beginning of this webinar. So please, if you are going to watch the replay, make sure you watch the first section, and that is Lorraine shared her personal journey and how she kind of uncovered and discovered this passion that she has for her blog, which is Tamarind and Thyme. I'm going to put it back up onto the screen for you to look, see. Go ahead and have a look at her blog. This is such a powerful space to go, and especially if you are into foodies, if you are looking for recipes that are really simple and easy to follow, go ahead and navigate off through to Lorraine's website. And again, not only that, I love the fact when she spoke right in the beginning about becoming an influencer. It doesn't happen overnight. Yes, it took so many parts of fading forward first before Lorraine actually found where she was nicely suited. And then, yes, absolutely, started attracting the right kind of partnership and collaboration as an influencer, which is so important, especially when you are growing your business. If you have watched the video and you feel is of any value, please, I'm going to ask you that you share this video, whether you start a watch party of your own or just share it by clicking on the icon down below. And that is that share icon. You can share it with a friend in Messenger, or you can share it on your wall. Again, I need to apologize for dropping the signal every now and then. Thank you for sticking out with me and for hanging in there, audience. We absolutely appreciate it. And I think what I'm going to do is also just for the quality, I'll have Lorraine back next month towards the end of the month. And maybe we can talk a little bit around your recipes and how it all comes about, and tell us the process of how you create that content, because I think that's also quite key. I'm sure a lot of people will want to know more around that as well. But thank you so much for watching, audience. Thank you for hanging out with us, and thank you for listening with my guest, Lorraine Maharaj, today. And I'm going to hand over to Lorraine for today's last message.
So, okay, my message to women is, if something bad happens in your life, never give up. Just keep going. And beautiful. I feel you can use your pain as gain for your personal growth. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. You can still pick yourself up and you can move on. Every day we face challenges, but if we're going to just collapse and die through every challenge, we're never going to strive in what we want to achieve in our life. So always just pick yourself up and don't let anyone try and tell you that you're worth less than you are. We are all worthy. We are all enough. And we should be as happy as we can be in our own skin. Do not wait for somebody else to love you before you can love yourself. Start loving yourself today, because tomorrow may also be too late. So I've learned to do that, and it's taken me a long time, but I know it can be done. And I promise you, once you reach that point of loving yourself and knowing that you are worthy, you'll never go back to where you were. And it's empowering. So just remember that. Oh, and thank you, Lucille, for having me.
Beautiful. And amen. Oh, it's my pleasure. Only a pleasure. I'm so excited that we get to do this together. It's really been very interesting, very inspiring. And you know what? Empowering as well. And as Lorraine has said, never give up. You have got this. You are enough. Just go out and get it. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. And again, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fantastic day. Cheers. Bye.